Hey, everybody, welcome to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me, as always, Eric, Nathaniel, and Dennis. What is going on this evening, fellas?
Hello.
Hey, guys.
E3 what's going on?
Yeah, it's E3 because it's a Tuesday, so there's only one reason why we would be recording on a Tuesday. I think that's the only time of the year we ever record on a Tuesday. I know we used to record on, was it Fridays back in the day? We used to do Fridays.
Yeah.
And I think that was the only time of the week
It's
we
been
used
all
to.
around at this point.
Oh yeah, it's been all around and up and down, and depends on what work schedules are and everything like that. It always, but it's never really this early in the week unless it's a special occasion.
Special occasion.
So special occasion is E3 happened. A lot of stuff got talked about.
Technically, it's just now started.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the press conferences and stuff have pretty much, for the most part, happened. Which is kind of why we decided to go ahead and do a show now. In years past, we've done shows where we've done them right after the conferences and talked about them, and then did 3 or 4 shows, or just didn't.
This is definitely not the year to do that.
No,
Yeah,
it's
there's
not.
so much stuff. It's crazy.
There's so much. I mean, Microsoft had 60 plus games, 14
Well,
of
I'm
them were
going from the
theirs.
opposite. Not that there's so much stuff, that there's so little surprises and hype and things to talk about. It's better to just kind of do it all at once versus doing after each one. And then Sony's not here this year, so it's just a really weird E3.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. It's really strange with Sony not being around, because there's some games that I would like to know about that Sony hasn't talked about yet, and which I know they'll probably do their thing at some point. I don't know. They could have not been on the show floor and still done like a state of play or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even do anything. So
They'll probably do one whenever they want, because they know people will watch it, and it won't be amongst everything else.
Hopefully it's more than 5 minutes, or however long the last state of play was. State of play was like less than 10 minutes the last time. So
Now, you didn't hear this from me, but apparently, you are going to hear from me. But it's apparently at the end of the month, from what I was told before I left GameStop, was our Sony representative came in. I'm not going to say his name, but his closer to the end of June, actually, we'll be seeing another state of play, because he kind of gave me a reason as to why Sony wasn't there, and a lot of it does have to do with cost of floor space, and just like they don't see it as something that's really needed anymore. So who knows if they'll be there next year? It's highly unlikely.
Well, I mean,
and that's what
my
I was hearing
understanding
about.
is,
but next year they have hardware to show, so it might be worth it in the budgets then.
Here's my understanding of what happens at E3. If you give up your booth, unless somebody else gives up a booth, you do not get that booth back. So they will not have, unless somebody next year says, a developer
but it's
says, I'm
Sony,
not going to do it.
So if Sony says, we want to come back, and they'll find space for them somewhere.
We'll see.
Who knows where it would be, or they could do like Microsoft has and have their own building somewhere else, because Microsoft is across
off-site and across the street.
Well, go ahead, Dennis.
Well, I was just going to say that I think the thing with E3 is that, I mean, look at what Nintendo did with the Switch, right? When they announced the Switch, and I'm not even talking about the whole NX thing, but when they officially unveiled it, it was just a video on YouTube, right? It was like introducing Nintendo Switch. That was just the title of the video, and then it got like 60 million views within like that weekend, and then they had their little special conference, I think in January of 2017, and then 2 months later is when it launched. So E3, I mean, yes, it's that time of the year where, everyone's kind of, all eyes on them, but at the same time, it's just like with the proper marketing, you can literally do that at any point,
Well, that's true. I mean, it's absolutely
but it's like a self-fulfilling thing of like E3 isn't what it used to be, because you're making it not what it used to be by not doing E3, because you can get away with doing it elsewhere, where some of the like smaller companies and stuff need E3 for that hype.
Yeah.
And they want to have Sony and Microsoft have a stage so that they might have a place to show something.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're not there, there's no big.
How much are tickets
everyone's
again
going
for public to go?
I have no idea. I didn't look up ticket prices. I don't know. But that's the other thing too. And I'd said on Twitter, it was like, I wonder if Sony had been there, would Microsoft have had 60 plus games to announce, because other places would have went to Sony, and Sony would have had who knows on stage, talking about this. They may have had Cyberpunk and not Xbox, but that's why I think, this being the quote unquote biggest show that Xbox has had is,
It was the exact same as if Sony had been there or not been there. Just felt like an Xbox conference. It didn't feel like anything bigger than they've ever done before. It didn't have any like huge, gigantic surprises that you'd just be like, wow, they pulled out all the stops. It was just like, yeah, it was just it was a conference like they've done for years and years.
Yep. But, well, let's go ahead, and what I figured we would do is we just go conference by conference and kind of touch on things that each of us kind of thought, was cool. We're not going to go here and give a blow by blow of of everything, because everybody in the world has done that over and over and over and over again 1,000 times over. So we'll start off with EA. The way they did it this year, they did 30-minute segments with some of their games. I think it ended up being like a total of 3 hours, because it was like Madden, FIFA. Yeah, one thing was worth it. They did it right off the bat, and I watched the 30 minutes of it, and I didn't watch anything else of it. And that was the Star Wars game.
Yes.
That game actually looks really fun.
It looks really fun. To me, it looks like a cross between Force Unleashed and Titanfall, with the running and the jumping on the walls and everything like that.
A little bit, but it's also neither one of those things, because the combat is way more intricate than you think from what it how they describe it. You could look at it and see, oh, maybe you hit one button to do a thing, but you're actually doing a little bit more than what you might assume.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited for it. It looks cool. I'm not as hyped for it as I feel like I should be, because I do like those kind of Star Wars games. I'm still going to buy it.
I like Star Wars. I like the developer, so I'm hoping it's good. It looks like it should be fun.
How long was that playthrough that they was like 10 minutes or something like that? 10 or 15 minutes
something
of
like
gameplay?
Roughly, yeah.
And then there's people who've gotten their hands on it now too.
Yeah. It looked really cool. It has what's his name from I can't remember the character's name from Rogue One, and he was in the was the
Saul
Rebels?
Guerrero.
Yeah, Saul Guerrero. Was it the Rebels show he was in, or was it
Clone Wars? I think
it was in Clone Wars. I think it was Clone Wars.
One of those. I don't remember.
I get them all mixed up now. I don't remember.
There is a ton of Star Wars cartoon content out there between just those two shows.
Yeah, I know, and it's trying to remember who was in what is a lot. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool. You got to see your force powers at work. You got to see the combat, how it worked. The being able to grab the dudes and throw them in the blaster fire was awesome, and it was all that kind of stuff was super cool. But that was the one. I didn't watch the Apex Legends. I didn't watch the Battlefield. I didn't watch the FIFA. I didn't watch. They didn't really. Anthem wasn't on the schedule, so I mean, there really wasn't anything to talk about specifically during the.
All I caught was like a little recap of what the Battlefield stuff was, and it's basically just doing some more details on what's coming for content-wise the rest of the year, sort of.
Yeah, so that was the take from the EA thing, and I was glad they did it at the beginning. I wish Square Enix had just done Avengers at the beginning, and I wouldn't have watched that whole thing.
It's all right. Square Enix had the best conference on Nintendo, in my opinion.
Yeah,
which is surprising because usually they don't.
Yeah, I knew at that point I knew Nintendo was probably going to, just because. I mean, well, we'll go ahead and start talking about Microsoft. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft had a lot of games. They mentioned Scarlet, they mentioned xCloud. They mentioned just offhandedly at the end. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to pull up my
problem
list.
with Microsoft conference is they didn't show gameplay even that much for stuff that they could have.
Gears of War was the big one.
Gears was the big one. The way they showed Gears, they could have had a better presentation.
Well, with that thing coming out in September, and not show any gameplay of the campaign or anything, that's on the main stage.
They're trying to take the Kojima approach.
They're kind of like, okay, you know what Gears is, it's going to be good, so we don't really have to show you all that much, maybe? I don't know. It's just kind of a little bit weird to me.
Cyberpunk looked awesome. That's still probably going to be
the peak of that show.
Yeah.
That'll be a purchase for me, definitely.
It still looks great.
I'm still surprised that's coming out this year. That's still really
and it has Keanu Reeves in it, and they're already referencing Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah, there was a lot of those.
Johnny something. I forget what the name of his character. But
yeah, it's I used to play the Cyberpunk games back in the day, and he plays Johnny. He was a heavy metal
Like Johnny
rocker,
Silver or something.
like that. He was in the very first gen version of Cyberpunk. I totally remember.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, as soon as I saw him on screen, I didn't realize it was him, of course, because he had the sunglasses on. But as soon as I saw the hair and the rocker dude looking, I'm like, oh, that's Johnny. Oh gosh, what's his name? I haven't spoken it in 25 years, but I know. And then when it was Keanu Reeves, I was like, huh. Well, that actually fits. That's a good thing. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Some of the other games that I saw that I thought was really interesting, they weren't necessarily Microsoft exclusive games. That Minecraft Dungeons game looked pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one I knew about, but that's the most of we've gotten to look at, like what it will be, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. 4-player co-op. It's going to be on Switch as well, so that's pretty sweet. They announced.
It showed a game from Ninja Theory that made me super disappointed that that's the game that they're making.
Which one was it?
It's the Bleeding Edge,
That's
and it's some weird like multiplayer thing. It makes me think of the one that Gearbox did, the Battleborn or something.
Battleborn. Yeah.
I'm like, that's not why I like Ninja Theory games.
Yeah, it looks like one of those 3-on-3 online.
Maybe it's
Battle
just because
Royale,
that's something
like
they
Apex
could
Legends,
make
yeah,
quickly.
like that, yeah.
Maybe they have a small team making that quickly so that Microsoft can get like a, hey, look, we have a Ninja Theory game, but it's not what I like from Ninja Theory. So it's kind of like, oh, really? That's
Yeah, that one kind of disappointed me. I was like, let's see, what else? Phantasy Star Online 2 was announced. I thought that was awesome. Finally, after 4 or 5 years, however long it's been. You know, I used to have a
open weeping.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't open weeping. It wasn't that bad. You know, I remember I used to have that game on the PC. There was a Chinese version that had a partial English patch to it, and you could play it, but that was my old PC. I had to erase it or something like that. And I've never been able to log back into it because, one, I can't remember my password, and two, now it's all in Chinese with all this verification stuff that I can't verify because I don't know Chinese. So, but yeah, that's cool that that's coming back out. That'll be cool. I thought the Elden Ring game looked kind of cool. The trailer for it was kind of sharp.
I mean, it was just a teaser trailer, but that's the promise of like another From Software game.
Yeah.
It's even bigger than Dark Souls and doing more of that vein where it's an RPG versus what they did with Sekiro. I'm like, sure, yes, I'll take it. Anything From Software is like, I will be interested in it, at least until they prove me that wrong with a game that sucks.
Yeah. The new Tales game was announced at the Microsoft.
That looked pretty good too, like Tales
cool.
of Arise.
That looked gorgeous.
Yeah, I love the Tales games anyway. I usually buy them all. May not play them, beat them all.
One thing that was kind of out of the blue that I will not play at all, but is cool that they're doing, is they're bringing back Flight Simulator.
Yeah, and that looked really sweet in 4K. That was really nice
it was
looking.
Very nice looking.
Yeah, I will. I have Game Pass, so I will play it on Xbox. I mean, you know, I'll play it. I have it on.
I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought when I saw it, because of how gorgeous it looked, I was just like, "Are they bringing planes into Forza?" That was my initial thought.
That's kind of funny. Actually.
Yeah, it did. It kind of looked that way at first. No, they're bringing Lego into Forza,
that looks awesome.
Yeah, I thought that looked really cool.
No complaints from me.
Driving real cars in Lego environments, Lego cars in Lego environments, Lego cars in real environments. Just do it all.
Yeah, I actually thought that was cool. I know a lot of people online did not like that at all, but I thought, man, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's not
excited.
different. Like, you know, sometimes different is good.
Yeah,
right?
I'm a big Forza fan and I'm a big Lego fan, so you know, mixing the best of both worlds there. So
well, I want to drive a Bugatti that's made out of Legos. Why not?
Oh no, there goes the wheel.
How much does that cost? If a real Bugatti costs $1 million, how much does a Lego Bugatti cost? It's got to cost more than that, right?
I'm curious about the mileage.
One of the games that I thought at the Microsoft conference that looked really, really interesting was that 12 minutes.
That was a big one for me.
Haven't we seen like a teaser for that before?
I don't
or something? Because
know.
it seemed familiar to me, but it is a cool looking game.
Yeah, it may have. I didn't remember seeing a video or a teaser for it before. You know, the whole thing is you play 12 minutes of this guy's life, and you know, you're caught in a time loop So it just goes over and over. So you got different ways to try to do this and that. And I don't know. I thought that looked really, really cool. And I don't know if that was that an Xbox exclusive? I don't remember if they said it was
I'm
or
not
not. I'll have to look it up because, like I said,
All I know is it's coming to Game Pass. That's all I know.
well, if it's coming to Game Pass, then it's probably, chances are that it might be an Xbox exclusive. I know some things that come to Game Pass are not Xbox exclusives, but if it launches on and it comes out on Game Pass, it may be. And they did mention the Xbox Ultimate, which is $15 a month for Gold, Game Pass on Xbox, and you get Game Pass on PC as well. So you get the entire Xbox thing for $15 a month, which is pretty cool because I upgraded my sub for the dollar, and I had we talked about this in the chat a couple days ago. I had 8 months or 6 months of Game Pass and 3 months of Gold, so they gave me 8 months of Ultimate, so I don't pay till frickin' March. I think it's
Pretty
March.
good deal.
So yeah. I mean, considering my Gold was up in September, and now it's not up until March. That's pretty good. But the added bonus of getting the PC Game Pass was kind of interesting. And Game Pass is only $10, on PC if you want it.
The only thing that remains to be seen is the new Xbox PC app actually going to be a decent way to get those games, or is it going to be as trash as the Windows Store?
Well, we'll see. I've downloaded it.
We'll
I
have to
haven't
find out.
actually I haven't actually booted it up yet to actually see it. Literally just downloaded. That was one of the things that I had to update my Windows for to download, and that's why it took long to get started, because everything got fricked up by my Windows update. So you gotta love Windows. But other than that, I mean, they really didn't talk much more about the cloud, xCloud, than they did last year, I thought.
Yeah, it was all really vague, and they didn't really show much of anything about what it will be. It's just kind of like, hey, it's a thing we're doing.
Yeah. One thing before we move on, I want to throw out an idea. I don't know. They were talking about being able to play games wherever you want on whatever
Like on a
screen
phone,
you
right?
want. Yeah, on a phone or a tablet or a
Theoretically,
a phone.
but they still didn't really say exactly
Right.
what that means either.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is if the last list of Xbox One backwards compatible games came out yesterday, and they said they're not doing any more on
Did they tell
this
us
gen.
they're just done, right?
Yeah, they're just done on this gen anyway.
This gen, yeah.
I'm wondering if the Project Cloud, xCloud thing, will be available on Xbox One when the Project Scarlet launches. It would be real interesting. The reason I say that is because I wouldn't have to buy a brand new Xbox Scarlet. I could buy the latest games, or if I have Game Pass, I would guess those would be included for the Project Extreme. These are the questions I have. Because my internet is good enough that I can stream at 4K. I don't have a data cap, which everybody with Google this week was complaining because, oh my gosh, I've got a data cap on my internet. Well, I'm sorry that Comcast puts a data cap on your internet, because I don't have a data cap on my internet, and I use like 600 gigs a month, and that's just streaming. That's not downloading anything. If I start downloading stuff, then it goes through the roof. I mean, we've used almost a terabyte on a good month. So, and I pay no different than I do when I don't use hardly any. But the Project Extreme is kind of interesting because they could go, well, you could buy this nice hardware, new mega system that we have, but if you still have an Xbox One and you don't want to buy that mega system right now, you can still stream these games through Project xCloud through the Xbox One or whatever. There was rumors flying around that Nintendo was going to be at the presentation talking about xCloud, and of course that never happened. And then there was, Microsoft's going to be at the in the Nintendo thing talking about it, and that didn't happen. But
Start the rumor mill.
I don't know. It's going to be real interesting with this cloud streaming stuff, because it seems like everybody's wanting to do some kind of cloud streaming, whether it's Microsoft or it's Ubisoft or if it's even Bethesda, which is who we're going to talk about next. But I don't know. I think it could be real interesting going from Xbox One to Scarlet, if xCloud is ready when that transition happens, and you can stream to your, Scarlet games to your Xbox One through xCloud. I mean,
Yeah, I think they're being a little bit more cagey this time because of how Xbox One launched.
yeah,
We're gonna reveal things slowly when they're more ready and finalized.
yeah, and maybe they're going to wait and see if Sony will whip out their cards
Or
too. I mean,
what they did do is they talked about Xbox Scarlet in some vague terms, talked about how good it is, how much it's going to be better and awesomer, and listen to these people who think it cool. Then
Yeah.
like, hey, by the way, Halo Infinite, it's going to be a launch title. Hey, cool, let's show a trailer for it. That doesn't show anything about what's possible. It doesn't tease anything. It just looks like a
CGI.
cinematic.
that's what
It's
I
all
thought. Yeah.
small in scope because you're stuck on a single spaceship the whole time. It's like, why is that what you're showing?
What's funny is they kind of used the same buzzwords that Sony did in that interview, that written interview. I mean, it was almost like it was so eerily. Oh, we've got solid state for no loading time. Yeah, that's what Sony said. Oh, we've got this custom AMD processor with the shading stuff. Yep, that's what Sony said. It was just
Yeah,
it was
I mean, they're
hilarious.
both going to be about like this gen where they
Yeah.
do similar things.
Yeah,
That's
but
my guess. I don't think one's going to be way more powerful than the other one. But
I don't
we shall
either.
see.
I don't think it is either. But it will be real interesting to me if xCloud is ready to go when that launches, because that could keep a lot of people on. That could make me say, well, I'll just buy a PlayStation 5 and I don't have to worry about buying a Xbox One or Xbox Scarlet until a price drop if I don't want
Well,
to.
that's where I'm at by default. Because of
Yeah.
this generation, I want a PS5 for all the sequels to games that came out this time, like God of War, or, Horizon Zero Dawn, those like some other ones. I want to see the sequels, and because of how long games make, I know they're going to be on the PS5 because they're not going to be coming out for PS4.
Right.
So I already want that one. Xbox just still has that uphill climb of why do you want to get this box?
Right.
They don't have anything like brand new. They're still doing the same old franchises of Forza and Gears and Halo that they're trying to bank on.
They're in
Don't
good
have
hands
anything
now.
new to pull you in.
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
So I think we'll get some of that next year after some of the studios they've acquired have a little bit more time to build some stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's like me. I'm keeping. I'm probably going to go Xbox 5 or PlayStation 5 unless Sony comes out and says it's $500 and Xbox comes out and goes it's $400 and I'm going to go sold. It's $100 cheaper.
Sold!
But
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably do like I did this time and wait a little bit
Yeah.
until some stuff comes out for it and then pick up one of them.
yeah, and
Switch is actually the first console I've ever bought on launch day. I've never bought a console launch day before. Switch was the only one that I bought day and date. Well,
I think. Let's see. I bought a Dreamcast on launch. I bought a PlayStation 2 on launch. I bought an Xbox 360 on launch. I bought a GameCube on launch. I bought an original Xbox on launch. I didn't buy a PlayStation 3 at launch. And then I bought a PS4 on launch, and I bought a Switch on launch. So yeah, I guess I mostly buy my games, at least one of them at launch.
I
bought a
the Wii
Dreamcast,
and the
like-
Switch are the only two I bought at launch.
The
I
only
bought a
reason,
Dreamcast a
Oh,
couple
go
months
ahead.
after launch,
Yeah.
and I bought a PS4 like 6 or 7 months after launch, and then the Wii I bought it'd been out for like a year and a half or so. But I would definitely consider getting a PS5 at launch, but I'm afraid it's the same thing with like PS4s. When it came out, I'm like, hey, look, it's got like 4 games, and I was like,
Well,
wait.
a lot of it's going to depend on what the backwards compatibility thing is. If I'll be able just to pop in a game and it's just immediately backwards compatible, it's not going to be like Xbox with the 360 games. Well, it's up to whoever if they want to make them backwards compatible. Which, since the hardware is so close to 4 and 5, I wouldn't see why I wouldn't be able to drop that disc in there and just be able to play with 4K assets and everything like it's playing on a Pro. And I don't have a Pro, so it's like, well, a PS5 would be cool because I can use my VR headset, I can play all my VR games, and they'll be in a higher resolution, and blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of things to weigh, this time around. Last time it was just like, I'll just buy it, and I just bought it, and it's still the same launch system over there. But I don't know. It's going to be real interesting this time around, I think. Just because I don't know. If Microsoft would have had a better out the gate with the Xbox One, I would have went that route because I was a 360 guy. So, but when they came out and said $500, I went, ooh. Sony went $400, and I went, okay.
It was all because of that Kinect too. That Kinect really ruined everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a Kinect on the
That's in
360.
past. We don't
The only
have to worry
thing,
about
yeah, that's true. The only thing I ever used it for was to control Netflix. That's literally the only thing I ever used it for. Turn on, turn off. That's it. Bethesda was the same night as same day as Xbox. They had some cool games. That Deathloop game was kind of cool.
Limb and say Bethesda should not have had a conference, but they have to keep it going.
That cool announcement for Fallout. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, which I kind of knew. I kind of figured that was going to happen. I figured they were going to come out and go, we made some mistakes with Fallout, blah 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 blah. We've got all this great new content. It's all going to be free to download. I don't really think I necessarily need a 56-player battle royale or whatever it is. That may they may have just went a little too far, but for everything else on Fallout, it looked pretty cool. They put NPCs back in.
Fine.
It's going to be probably played more like a traditional Fallout game now with the online component.
My problem is all of the stuff that they had should have been something that they could have done elsewhere. Like, hey, we're doing Fallout 76. Here's what we're doing to fix it. For this, they didn't need to spend as much time as they did on it. For Elder Scrolls, they didn't need to spend as much time as they did on all the different things.
Well,
they did not need. No one gives a crap about Commander Keen because that mobile game doesn't even look like Commander Keen that we played back in the day, which I would be excited about. I played those games. This is not Commander Keen. They just slapped the name on it.
Mobile, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, as soon as they said mobile, I went, oh.
And then they had Ghostwire and Deathloop that were two new things that seemed cool, but we don't know much about it because they were just teaser trailers, so that didn't really take much as far as time goes.
Yeah. And
then most of the other stuff we knew about, we knew about the Wolfenstein game. Yes, it looks good, but we know kind of what that is. We know what Doom looks like. We know what all these things are. So it just kind of underwhelming for me.
That was the thing with Doom. Doom was Doom a little prettier. I mean, it was still Doom. It was still.
It's still gonna be awesome, but it's not. It doesn't have that oomph for your conference. Right?
And it's still a game that I'm not going to buy because it will make me physically ill to play it. They always do. That's why I would really like to try Doom VR, but I'm afraid to because if regular Doom makes me sick, well, Doom VR are going to do. Even Wolfenstein kind of gives me a little.
Yeah. Wolfenstein and Doom bothered me, and FPS games don't bother me.
Yeah,
Doom probably bothered me more than Wolfenstein, but it was interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, the Wolfenstein looked cool. I wish they would make a full-on VR first-person shooter Wolfenstein. Not that I'm driving the robot thing and shooting things. No, I want a real Wolfenstein game in VR. That would be really cool.
The thing I wish they'd done was just do a gameplay demo of it real quickly because. They sort of halfway cut the trailer where it looks like, hey, it's co-op going on, but it wasn't clear enough that you knew exactly what was going on.
And
keep it simple.
Your feelings on the conference were correct. I think they were on the nose correct because I am 99.999% sure that they had the interns sitting in the front row doing all that screaming and yelling to make it sound like the crowd was really getting into it. Because if you ever,
I don't know, Bethesda usually has a woo person or two, but they had a lot of.
They did, because if you ever know, if you paid close attention when they did the big pans back of the crowd, and everybody, you just hear people go, "Wow, yeah!" Nobody in the crowd was doing anything. It was just the people on the front row. I was like, okay, if you're going to have plants, don't plant them all in the same place. Plant them throughout.
They were all wearing the same shirt too, and it's like, come on, it was like a uniform,
Yeah.
Those were Bethesda interns hanging out.
I don't know if they were interns necessarily, but they were probably like.
I don't want to get fired. I'll scream.
Right.
Yeah.
I want a job tomorrow.
Blades coming out on Switch. I thought that was pretty cool. Cross between the mobile version and stuff. So it looked like they've come a long way with that game, even though I hadn't really played it. The Orion tech I thought was a really, really cool thing. A lot of people, it was a
Don't
snooze
show that in a
fest.
conference.
No. Because immediately anybody that was cared about games is going, just zoned out. But I thought it was really interesting, but a lot of people thought it was, or think that it is a streaming service provided by Bethesda. It's
But
not.
it's
A,
like
it's not.
middle like where hardware.
Yeah, it's like a
solutions or
hardware solution. It's not a. It's not a streaming service.
something.
It's something that a company like Microsoft or whoever makes the developer can go to them and say, we're going to stream our game on this. We want a technology that will do help with latency, will help with this, will help with that.
It's basically some sort of optimizing technology or
Yeah.
something. So it's like, yay, cool, prove it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like I said, I don't know how.
talk is talk, guys, with all of this
Yeah.
streaming stuff.
Well,
Talk is talk.
they had it on stage on a
Work.
phone with a controller. Now, how much of that, it's still connection speed and stuff like that. I mean, and we're not talking
That
they were
stuff
doing it
can
over
be
4G.
faked.
Yeah, it can real easy, but it's
Let's
still
see real world tests, man. That's what I want.
it's still interesting that somebody though is at least doing that. Software. A software company is doing that because sometimes hardware people it gets too hardware-y, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a weird thing. Anyway, moving on to Ubisoft. I did not watch this conference at all. I was not at home when it was on, and I have yet to watch the replay of it.
I kind of skimmed
The console
through.
I
was going to say,
can't.
it sounded like it was a little crazy and a little weird and a little
I mean, it's Ubisoft.
all over the place. Yeah,
It has to be weird.
Rainbow Six. I know they talked some about Rainbow Six. Was this a new game or is this an add-on?
You know what? That entire conference was filled with nothing but expansions and DLC.
Yeah.
And I had tweeted that there's varying levels of announcements, right? E3 is the place you want to go to for something that's going to be a spectacle, an event, something that's a little memorable, something that's just like, okay, let's be theatric with it, I guess. But everything they announced literally could have just been a blog post. That was it. It was all of it was just like expansions, DLC.
Apart from Watch Dogs.
Legions.
Yeah, that was like their one big thing, and then they
Well,
kind of teased another game called Gods and Monsters, but it was just
Yeah.
a teaser trailer.
Well, according
Which-
to
It
this,
looked cool art style wise.
according
Yeah.
to this, Rainbow Six Quarantine is actually a spin-off game. It's not a DLC. It's actually a 3-player PvE game, not a PvP game. So it sounds like maybe
It's like Rainbow Six Zombies or something.
that's what I was going to say. It sounds like it may be more of a proper Rainbow Six game with like terrorist hunts. That's what we always liked with Rainbow Six.
Except isn't it all zombies and things?
I have
or
no idea.
whatever
Like I
you
said,
want to-
I didn't get a
think
chance
it's
to
like-
watch it.
You didn't
I
miss
think
much.
it's basically they're doing their version of Call of Duty Zombies, except it's Rainbow Six. That's
Gotcha.
what I got the vibe from. The
I don't see this being full
Half-paid
fledged, so
edition.
something tells me that if you have, I don't know, let's just say whatever that year pass thing Ubisoft likes to do, it might just come included with that. Otherwise, you can buy it standalone. Something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just doing a quick look at it. It's just, I don't see any pictures in this article. They don't really show anything. There's a video, maybe, I don't know. There's an ad playing, so who knows. They did, what was it there? Ubi Pass or whatever it was called, or
Yeah,
Ubi Play,
I was-
Ubi Plus.
I was interested in that. I wish I didn't
You-
get a
you
chance
play
to be.
Plus.
Do we know anything about the games? Is it going to be like older stuff, like from PS2, Xbox generation?
Here's the problem with that. All of their
Uh-oh.
games are huge live service games that they want you to play forever now. So
Mhm.
that pass isn't going to be worth it if you're going to be playing
But-
just one game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If there's some cool
One or two
older
games.
titles that I never played.
True,
Well,
it
it's
could
got to
be,
have
but
older
yeah.
titles. There's over 100 games in it, so it's got to be older
Yeah, it has
titles.
to.
I mean, there's,
Give me a partial list. I must know.
it says here the catalog will include recent games like Division 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, back catalog games of Beyond Good and Evil, Heroes
Why
of
did I
Might and
buy
Magic.
Division 2?
And it'll have new releases like Watch Dogs Legion, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's only for PC though. It is not on
Yeah.
consoles.
Maybe it'll come to console.
It might.
I will
I'd-
go on and predict they will not sell that many of it. Like they'll sell some, but like PC gamers will be like,
You don't think it'll
whatever,
do as
Ubisoft.
well as what EA's Game Pass is, right?
Nope.
And I really don't either. I don't think it's going to do much because
Not for 15. Definitely not.
I mean, I like there. There's some. There's a lot of Ubisoft games I like. Assassin's Creed. I've already bought those. Division 2.
Watch
I
Dogs.
already bought that. The old Watch Dogs. I already bought that. I might buy the new Watch Dogs. I don't know. But I don't play normally on PC, so that really doesn't affect me anyway. But it's like, am I going to pay $15 a month just to play Ubisoft games? If they're day one new releases, and I know I just want to play, I'm only going to play it for maybe a month or two, it might be worth $15 instead of paying $60 for a game that I'm only going to play once and then not play again. If I can drop and I'm go in and off, off and on. So I don't know. It may be worth
It's
it.
just a thing that I don't think is worth it for me and
Yeah.
for probably most people, unless you're just like a super uber fan of Ubisoft or an uber fan of EA games. Or
Right.
like
I was gonna.
all their
Oh,
stuff
how
is mostly.
And
what
how
you
much
play.
is Game Pass? Game Pass is $10
$10
a month.
$10.
EA's thing.
No,
15
not
for
EA, Microsoft's thing.
Oh no! What's the EA thing for
It's
Xbox?
$20 for a year or $25 for a year.
I think it's 30 for a year, $5 a month.
Dang.
Yeah, $5 a month, maybe something like that.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
It's a good deal if you like sports games.
Yeah, and I'd be like, okay, play Madden.
And
play,
last year's
NBA.
sports games, because they never, it doesn't have like, in August it won't be Madden 21, it'll be Madden 20. So, I mean, if you like those, if you like to play your old sports games, or you like Battlefield or Battlefront, or but there's not a lot to choose from on the EA one, which is
but
why
I
it's
still,
only $5 a month.
$5 a month, I could eat that cost.
Yeah, I guess I'd sub to it for a little while, and I mean it was fine, but I probably got $5 worth of play out of it. I don't know. There wasn't enough EA games on there for me to go, yep, this is something I want to continue to do. Especially when I could do them on Game Pass for $10 a month and have a bigger library with some of those games on there. That's the other thing. So I don't know. It's weird. Let me skip down the list real quick because we'll hit some of these smaller ones that most people don't care about. Limited Runs had a video with their games of
I
what
care about them.
they're releasing this year, and Deep Silver because of kind of what they did to everybody with Shenmue 3 who backed it on PC. That's kind of
Epic Store.
yeah, it's an Epic Store exclusive now, and for those who backed it on Kickstarter, they thought it was supposed to be Steam, and it ended up being Epic, and a lot of people are not happy about that, and pretty much Kickstarter said, yeah, we're not giving you your money back. So so not only are you going to take a game like Shenmue 3 and you're going to release it November 3rd, 5th, or 19th, right in the middle of Pokemon, Death Stranding, what else is coming out there? There's two other
Doom
games.
Eternal that month too.
Yeah.
Fall.
Yeah, I mean, all in the middle of that month. But then you come out on stage and go, it's going to be an Epic Store exclusive, and PC gamers go, oh, what? What did I back? I didn't back it for Epic. Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing is a crap show, and
The Epic Store needs to get up to snuff. They'll have some extra stuff by then, I'm sure, because that's several months from now. But still, feature-wise, it's not where it needs to be.
Yeah, and it's
They don't even have a
It's not
shopping
that,
cart.
like, ooh, Steam is the only thing. It's like, no, I have plenty of other like game stores that I bought stuff from.
Oh, yeah.
But
I've got
Epic Store is just kind of, it was put out before it was ready, I think. So it's kind of, they're playing catch up.
I think GOG is great. I mean, but it's also like how you kind of advertise yourself too. GOG has always kind of said that like we're not a competitor to Steam. We're just an alternative. You can use us as a complementary launcher. We're not here to overtake Steam or anything like that. Versus Epic, where it's just like no, we're gonna get anything and everything, and it's just I don't know, it's just
some
dirty.
stuff they're doing good with it, and some stuff that's not so good with it. So yeah, that's a whole thing we don't need to get into.
Yeah,
I'm just shocked to see a lot of PlayStation exclusives. Like, I mean, you've seen like all the Quantic Dream stuff is there now, and Journey and stuff like that. Like, how and why is a better question, really. Why did Sony say, okay, that's fine?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. But yeah, I know a lot of the Shenmue people are. It's civil war in the Shenmue forum right now because there's, I mean, some people are like, "Oh, this is fine. It's fine. It's important that they got money from Epic to help develop a game." And it's like they didn't get that much money from Epic to make that thing exclusive. That smells of Deep Silver.
That
all
smells
over
of somebody involved for a while, not just like a split second. Like, oh no, we're doing this 2 weeks ago. No,
that's a corporate thing. That's not a developer. I guarantee that. Ever since Deep Silver has come on and said we're going to publish that game, things have been getting kind of fishy with it. That it's
funky.
But yeah, I mean, really, the limited run stuff. I mean, some of it looks cool. They're releasing a crap ton load of the LucasArts stuff.
Yeah, I was.
Physically.
They're going to come out with. They're putting out a couple of the. They're re-releasing a couple of the N64 games.
Yeah.
Pod Racer and Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, and I mean, you got X-wing, you got TIE Fighter, you got Jedi Knight 2.
You got the monkey. Yeah, well, you got Jedi Knight 1, you got Jedi Knight 2 or Jedi Outcast. They got Monkey Island series.
Yeah.
Monkey Island series. They're re-releasing that for PC. Those are all really cool. Those all caught my eye. I can't buy them all, and I also, they're probably at least 30 a piece. But those N64 might be a little bit more.
I mean, it's a cool idea. I'm not interested in it. Just not.
Monkey Island?
No, I've got Monkey Island on PS2. I've got it on Steam. I've got it on enough stuff.
I actually don't have Monkey Island on anything. I should definitely look into getting it. I've got everything else pretty much. Most of the main Star Wars games.
Yeah, I just
10 Ways to Sunday.
And the sad thing is the two games that really interest me that Limited Run say they have, Blaster Master Zero and Freedom Planet. I have those digitally. They've been out for like 6 months. Yeah. It's like
Freedom Planet is super cheap on Steam too.
Yeah,
I think it's like a couple bucks.
I think I have it on Wii U as well. I think I got it in a Humble Bundle.
Humble Bundle. That's how I got it too. I have a code.
Unless I'm thinking of something else. Correct me if I'm wrong. Freedom Planet is the game that was kind of inspired by Sonic, right?
You are 100% correct.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that game's great.
It's a fun game. Yeah, there's the sequel too, which is really good. They showed at PAX a couple years ago. I played the sequel and it was even better. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I got that like forever ago on Wii U. The game's been around for a while. Actually.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's coming out. I mean, I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I might get it, but this time around, Limited Run just really didn't have anything that interests me too much, other than that Shenmue. I really want that Shenmue, but
even the remaining Vita games didn't really, appeal to me very much. And I'm a big Vita guy, so yeah.
I never try to get the Vita or the PS4 stuff because it sells out so quick. They never have them open pre-orders like they do the Switch stuff.
Yeah,
the Vita stuff still, especially.
It's crazy fast. You gotta, you can't.
I tried to get what was the most recent one? The House of Fata Morgana. I tried to get that. The visual novel people have been waiting for. Yeah, it was like that.
And you're like, it's a visual novel, but half the people bought it to play, and the other half, well, we won't go into that.
Yeah, well, but I tell you what, Vita has a really, it's a small community. But man, I mean, if it comes out on the Vita, they buy it. They buy it all, and they buy it quickly. Yeah,
that's
I used to be that way too. I was that way too, and then the Switch came out, and then I never really picked my Vita back up again. So
yeah, no, I still like if I see a game that has a Vita and a Switch release, I still opt for the Vita version. I'm just one of those.
And there's totally nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
It's whatever you feel like playing games on.
I mean, that thing was an awesome little system.
Wins.
It really is great. It's a shame what happened to it. But,
it really is.
Oh,
go ahead. Sorry. What?
I was gonna say the Monkey Island collection. It's available on Steam. It's only like $25.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for preservation and this and that and that and this, but at the same time, it's like, man, you got 50 games coming out. 50.
Yeah.
On top of the bazillion that are coming out new releases everywhere else. It's like at some point you got to draw a line in the sand. I did throw the link to the VR conference thing, a video that they did. It was kind of interesting. There was some PSVR, but most of it was Oculus and Vibe. But I will have the link in the show notes if anybody's interested in it. There was a couple, I can't remember. Drunken Bar Fight's got some DLC coming out. That game always cracks me up because all it is a VR game and you're in a bar and you pick a fight with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And a fight breaks out. You can just pick up a chair and beat somebody with it. It's hilarious. You can throw them off the ledge. It's just funny. So I was looking here to see. There was a couple that was coming out on PSVR and I forgot to write them down. And it's not coming up in the notes, but in the notes there's a link to the actual, I think it was 20-minute or half-hour little video that they had that had a lot of cool stuff in it. So let's see. Let's go on to Square. I like the Square presentation, but my gosh,
For once, they had a decent show.
they did. They had a real decent show. My only complaint is the trailers were like 20 minutes long apiece. They were so long. There was a couple times during the trailers, especially for what was the game? One of the role playing games they started talking about, and and I literally was sitting there watching it, and I started nodding off because it was just like, oh my
It's
gosh,
kind of funny.
they're giving me way too much information that I don't really need to know right now. I mean, I appreciate the detail that they went into it, but
Detail's good for some things, but you got to break it up with other ones. You
Yeah.
can't do it for everything.
no, you couldn't.
I did appreciate the detail enough for the two that they had to do, and one I don't really care about just because I'm not into Final Fantasy, but that
Yeah.
one they showed it, and then the Avengers game they did a lot on that one too.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Before I talk about the Final Fantasy game, my only problem with the Avengers game is their faces and the hair is kind of weird. The hair is strange on Thor. It just doesn't look right.
I
And
thought it looked fine. To
well,
me.
Black Widow kind of has a mannish face. I don't. Yeah, kind of. At first, when she turned around and started talking when they did the close up, I didn't realize that was Black Widow at the time until they came back. I'm like, oh wait, that's Black Widow. Whoops, my bad. It's like, but the game looks awesome. 4-player co-op, which is going to be totally cool. I'm guessing that's campaign and the online stuff they were talking about.
I wonder if they just couldn't do 5, or if that's just uncommon, or what. 'Cause
I don't
they had
know.
like 5 of
Like
them
DLC would be
there.
more Avengers
Yeah.
characters. That'd be pretty
Why
cool.
not do
Especially if they
5-player
put, like,
co-op?
obscure stuff in there.
Yeah, well, and there's gonna be more characters, and
Yeah.
we saw Ant-Man,
Let's go
and
some Avengers,
for
see
some
some
reason
stuff over
Hawkeye
the
wasn't in there. I don't know why.
But it's interesting
Well,
that you
because this
mentioned.
is not the MCU. This is their own thing.
No,
so
no,
they
but
can do
still,
whatever they want to do
yeah.
with it.
It's interesting that you mentioned like how the hair and stuff didn't look good either, because I mean I do agree with you on that. And the reason why I find it so weird though is because this is Crystal Dynamics. What they've mainly been working on the last couple of years, if not their entire development history, really is Tomb Raider stuff. And when Tomb Raider rebooted in 2013, I want to say, one of their biggest draws was like, look at this lifelike hair, especially when it came to PC. I think about a year or so later when they introduced Tress Effects, which was a new type of technology at the time that made realistic flowing hair. And it was beautiful. And then they've implemented that technology in Rise and in Shadow. And the way the hair physics work in those games is still some of the best I've seen in anything, period. So it's weird to kind of go from that to this where everything kind of looks very, I don't know.
I'm gonna guess that this is a different enough kind of game. They had to start more from scratch. They can't just do like
Maybe.
the Tomb Raider engine
possible,
for
yeah.
that to run. And also, it's more than just Square Enix. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
touching this game. So
True.
that's
And stuff like
Could
that
just
could
be-
change
so-
by we've got a
Yeah,
year.
this is the first
Yeah, I
footage.
mean, it's
They're
cool.
still dialing
They
it in.
got time.
Yeah. It just was at first, the first 5 minutes or so, it was kind of off-putting to me. It was kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird.
I
It's
was
kinda-
more like that stuff doesn't ever bug me that much because that's something that they'll like probably dial in.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. The thing that excites me about it is seems like they're telling what could be a really cool story,
Mhm.
and they have a really awesome like cast.
Yeah,
like,
the voice
for
cast
it.
is really good. I mean, you got Nolan North and
Nolan North and Troy Baker
Troy
and Laura
Baker.
Bailey
Troy
and
Baker.
Travis Willingham.
Travis
That's
Williams,
pretty
that's
cool
right.
with me.
who are the other guys?
Bailey.
I don't know any. I don't
Travis
recognize any
Willingham
of the
and
guys.
Laura Bailey are in like tons and tons of video games. You've heard.
Yeah,
of.
they're
I'm
brilliant.
sure they
They're
were. I just
also-
didn't.
my
didn't
connection
names
to them
me.
is there are 2 people that are on Critical Role. So
Oh, okay.
anything that I ever
Yeah.
see Critical Role people in, I'm like, yes, I know that voice. I recognize it. Like almost.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Critical Role as well.
It didn't click with me. I didn't recognize their voice. When Tony Stark spoke, I knew immediately that was Nolan North. I'm like, oh my gosh! Now we've got Nathan
most
Drake
Nolan North
as
of anything.
yeah.
Oh, they literally got the Avengers of voice acting as well. So
Pretty
that's the
much.
crazy.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I mean, everything looked really, really cool. Like I said, it's just those little graphics things just kind of threw me off at first.
The little bits of what looked like gameplay look cool. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
excited to see more about it.
Yeah, I am too. And I was like, oh, 4-player co-op, and my buddy that I always played, Destiny and Anthem with, I said, man, 4-player co-op on Adventures, it's gonna be awesome. He's like, I'm not interested. I'm like, why? Oh, I've got superhero burnout. I'm like, what? You're
Oh,
a You're a fool.
I do with
Yeah.
movies, not with games, though.
Yeah, I do with movies.
By the time the game comes out, maybe it'll change the
That's what I told him. I said, it's a year. You got a year. I mean, literally a year before it comes out. So quit crying and go buy it. All right? That's all I'm asking. So,
Well, you can buy it when it comes out. Don't buy
oh,
it
no.
now.
He needs to buy it now. Make a
That makes no
commitment.
sense.
Make a commitment and buy it now. A non-refundable $60 deposit. And yeah, some of the other games they had were Dying Light was pretty cool looking. Last
Didn't show
Remnant, which
too
I
much
bought
of
on
it,
the Switch because I'm a sucker for Last Remnant. I love that game.
Wasn't that like an Xbox
I do love that
360
game, too.
exclusive?
It was.
At one point, yeah.
Well, and they remastered it and brought it out on PS4 and Xbox One, and I didn't buy it on PS or PS4.
I'm pretty sure you can get it on PC at this point too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm
like,
sure you can.
Originally, I was just thinking of when it came out.
Dragon Quest.
Now, is the
Builders-
remaster? Is the remaster for Last Remnant? Because I haven't gotten it yet. Because I already own it on Steam. But is the remaster actually like? Did they add like quality of life things, or is it just prettier?
Well, I mean, I haven't got to really play it a whole lot. It is prettier. I don't know how much they've changed with anything else because literally,
Okay.
I've only played it for like 5 minutes. I haven't had much time to play it today.
I gotcha.
Because what I didn't realize is my Switch was by the bed. It had 20% battery life, and if you start downloading a game with 20% battery life, it only downloads a little bit, and then once it gets below 20, it will not download anymore. So I got up this morning and went, oh crap, my Switch is at 18%. It stopped downloading to save battery life. Son of a gun! Let me plug it up and go to work, and then I come back. But yeah, I love that game on the 360. It was one of my favorite games, role-playing games that I played. It was so different at the time, combat-wise. It was just, and this, it was really cool. So I
felt
for
the
$20
same
I
way.
picked it up.
Yeah, no, I think 20 was a sweet spot. I think I even said like when I was live streaming the event, I was like, you know what? If it's like 30 or 40, I'm gonna wait. That's a sale waiting to happen. But if it's 20, that's that sweet spot that'll make me jump in. And sure enough, it's 20. So
Yeah, it's $20. Unlike some of the other Square stuff that that is not $20, that is $40. That is insane, but we'll get to that in a little while. A little foreshadowing there. The other games that I thought was really cool was Dragon Quest Builders 2 looks awesome. I loved that first game. It was really, really
so
good.
excited. So
Yeah.
excited.
I should have held on to it. The Switch version is very hard to get now, and I ended up trading it to somebody for something else, and I should have held on to that. So, even though I'd already beat the crap out of it like 17 times. Let's see, what else did they have other than the elephant in the room of Final Fantasy VII Remastered? I guess that's what we'll talk about next. I was glad to see gameplay of it. The more I saw the gameplay, the less I really cared about it. It looks pretty, but everybody knows my feelings on how I think Final Fantasy VII is a overrated RPG.
I think people who are
I
in
hear ya.
Fantasy VII a lot will like to play
I do agree.
Who's not may or may not care.
I mean, when Final Fantasy VII came out, I'll never forget because it was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It was really, really good. I don't think it aged well with everything else that's come out since then. Well, really, things that came out like... What's bad is it came out... When was that? 99 did that come out? Or was it 98? I can't remember. It was right around the Dreamcast time that it came out. I know that. Give or take a year. And... once in the 2000s when Skies of Arcadia came out and things like that, it was like, this is, head and shoulders above gameplay-wise and graphics-wise and everything. But
I'm still traumatized by like the 5+ discs that it had.
yeah, I mean, it was huge. It was so huge at the time.
Still a lot though, yeah, just massive. And
But, the new one looks real pretty. Man, I get so tired of playing games where they're doing stuff and the characters keep going, yeah, take it to bye-bye. I hate that. I hate it. I used to think it was cool, but as I've gotten older, it just annoys me. But, man, I don't know if maybe just it was late last night or, what I was watching, when I was watching or what. Hey, Spinner, what's going on? We've already got to Square Enix, so we're on the Final Fantasy VII if you want to know where we're at. The combat, I don't know how easy that's, how I want to know what the learning curve of that combat is, because it looks like it started out, decent, and then you can stop and do this and do that. And then when you got another character, you can jump and go back and go forth and go back and back forth, and it's like, what? How hard is this going to be? Because it seemed like it was pretty complicated to me, but maybe it's not as complicated as I'm thinking. A lot of times that stuff looks more complicated until you actually get a hold of it and play it. But I mean, it did look pretty. My understanding is though that it's going to be on 2 Blu-rays, so you're looking at probably near 100 gigs of data. My understanding is that only covers this release only covers the first disc worth of content of Final Fantasy VII. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, you heard that right. I think that's why I tweeted. I'm just gonna wait for the complete edition because I don't want to do this kind of disc by disc nonsense.
Complete edition on PlayStation 8.
Yeah, and that's that's what I'm afraid Final Fantasy VII is going to turn into. It's going to be a game that we're going to get Final Fantasy VII in 2020. We'll get the part 2 or whatever they call it in like 2022, 2024.
It'll be like the 13 trilogy, only spread across multiple consoles is all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a cool idea. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's for me. I don't think.
At least you're honest.
I don't think I'm committed to that. I'm definitely not committed to that $329 collector's edition with the motorcycle.
Oh god, no.
I'm not committed to that. I'll tell you that right now.
They did that for 10, maybe, but even so, that's because 10's my personal favorite. But even so, I don't know.
8 is my personal favorite of all of them. 8's
like
the one
8
that I
too.
like the most, and they're finally doing a remaster of it, which I'm looking forward to that because I have not played that in a while.
It was always the run of the litter for some reason.
Yeah.
8. I don't. It's unfortunate because I really do genuinely love.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I like 8 so much is because I knew after playing it and then 9 coming out like I want to say a year later, it was real close anyway. It was like nobody really appreciated 8, or at least I never felt like they appreciated 8. And then when remasters,
I thought that was a big. Yeah, it was just a big technological leap also between 7 and 8 also just in terms of the polygon wise and all the models looked a lot more form fitting versus.
I look at 7 now and I'm just like, ooh, revolutionary at the time, but oh man,
right.
Yeah, I mean, 13 was cool. Yeah, 13 was cool too. It wasn't too bad. It was very different. It was very different.
I'll defend 13 personally. I know a lot of people give that game crap, but I mean, I could literally write a thesis on why those games are a lot better than people, give it credit.
Yeah, but I mean, man, though, I tell you what, the amount of people gushing over Final Fantasy VII was unbelievable on Twitter. Anyway.
I was one of those people personally.
Oh yeah, But I mean,
I'm also not blind to.
Yeah, you're gushing,
people can
but
be
it's
excited, man.
Yeah, you can be excited, but you got to be. You were reasonably, you kept your excitement in check, but. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a great game. It's going to sell a bazillion copies of it. I just don't know about this, this episodic. I mean, that's huge. I mean, you're talking 2 discs. That's Red Dead Redemption 2, huge.
Yeah.
The 3 biggest games I've got installed on my PlayStation right now is Red Dead, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Arkham Knight, I think, and they're all around 92 gigs. They're all really up there.
Yeah, I think for me, Red Dead, the latest Battlefield, and then maybe Fallout 4 and all the DLC. I know that's bigger than The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
that's pretty much.
You're talking about a lot of and you're talking about this is just a quarter of the game. We're going to charge you another $60 for the next quarter, and $60 for the next quarter, and $60 for the next.
I still don't think anything tops, if I'm not mistaken, anything tops Quantum Break. Because Quantum Break, if you get all the 4K assets and whatnot, is
that was huge.
Closer to 200 gigs, if I'm not mistaken.
all the video and all that.
Yeah,
it was
the
huge.
videos. That was the biggest
Dude,
part of it. And
At
for
some
some
point, you
reason,
don't even install the video they stream.
No, you don't have to. Yeah. But
I don't think you even can on the PC version that I had. I think it was just
you can on the one. I know
had
you
to
can
stream,
on the
or
one.
maybe I've got that backwards. I don't know, but yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know about the PC, but I know on the Xbox One that thing was friggin' huge.
All
if you
that stuff
downloaded
takes up
everything.
space for sure.
Yeah, so, but it'll definitely be interesting. I know all you Final Fantasy fans out there will enjoy it, and it will be a good game. It's just the more I saw of it, I went, yeah, that's pretty. I'm less interested in it now than I was, before.
I mean, that's my default for Final Fantasy. Is like, yeah, that looks pretty. Not for me.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sad. I love role playing games. I love Japanese role playing games, but it's just kind of got to the point with Final Fantasy games, and I'm just kind of like, we called that one Final Fantasy because it was going to be our only game. And 13 games later and 25 years later, we're still calling them Final Fantasy. But anyway, so the last presser was Nintendo. And they came out guns a-blazing on this one.
there was no mercy. No mercy.
No, it was, for a Nintendo presser, there's going to be videos and stuff like that. It was like, let's get started. And you didn't see anybody for like 10 whole minutes. It was just, here's a game, 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 here's a game. And, it was,
They started with
The
like,
introduction.
Smash right off. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
The introduction of Doug Bowser, I thought, was brilliant. I think that was such a beautiful way to bring him
very
in, bring him into the
way
spot.
they did that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of just all the other goofy things they've done in the past on directs. Still, though, they will never top the puppets one.
That's exactly what I was just
Best.
getting ready to say.
Yep.
If it's not puppets, it's never going to top that. Now, I don't play Smash, Dennis, so tell me exactly what all... And Nathaniel, you may know, too. I know you play Smash,
They
too.
just announced two, like the direct started out with a big long trailer bits basically announcing, look, Dragon Quest character is a DLC character, and that one's coming this summer. I think.
So it was only the one Dragon Quest character? It wasn't like a bunch of them. It was just that one,
Well, there is
right?
a bunch, I think, but I'm guessing it's probably just going to be skin swaps.
Yeah, just
So
palette
it's like
swaps.
Okay,
For them, more than
all right.
likely.
So it'll look different but play the same.
Because I thought there for a minute, I was like, holy crap, they're just dumping all the
Yeah,
Dragon Quest cards.
they brought a whole new meaning to everyone is here. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
And then later on in the direct, they had the trailer for Banjo Kazooie as a character coming into
Yeah.
Smash, which
saw that,
is a
which-
huge get.
yeah, that was...
Very
That
exciting.
was long rumored, but it was still surprising that.
Well, it's one of those ones that everybody's like, "This would be perfect."
Yep.
It'll be difficult for
I,
them to
I
work
think
it out.
well I think the reason why it's such a big deal and why I find it just so groundbreaking really is because Banjo would make the reason why everyone everyone was asking for him for the longest time, and it makes sense because Banjo has a history on Nintendo and so does Rare, and Banjo just in terms of movesets, it fits Smash and the art direction and everything. But the reason why it's so groundbreaking is because Sakurai said forever ago that he only wanted Japanese characters because he wanted to help promote them a little bit more, And so Banjo is the first non-Japanese character ever in Smash Brothers history, and that's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. So now it makes me feel like, wow, okay, now literally anyone is eligible at this point for Smash Brothers. So, hey, with Witcher 3 coming to Switch, Geralt maybe? I don't know. We'll see. But
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be really weird.
It would be really weird. Wouldn't it? Still
very
cool.
weird, yeah.
But they talked about Animal Crossing New Horizon, which is coming out. Was it March 2020? It was early 2020 anyway.
Yeah, they pushed it back.
Yeah, they pushed it back, and I saw a bunch of people on Twitter saying, "Why did they push it back? Why did they push it back?" Well, because they've
To
got
finish it, they literally said
they could to finish
Make
it,
good.
and I think they've got enough games coming out in November and December that they don't have to
Yeah, right.
worry about having.
The rest of this year is filled with Nintendo stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's already crowded enough as it is. Even if you're just playing on Switch, forget the other platforms for a second. If you're just playing on Switch,
Yeah.
it's already crowded enough as it is.
Mhm.
My personal favorite is the one that I knew I was going to want. The Link's Awakening thing still looks amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it
gorgeous.
does.
Coming out
Absolutely
end of
gorgeous.
September. That looks great.
Yep. I'm waiting for Amazon to have the pre-order bundle up that has the art book in it. I gotta have that.
Oh my god, that Game Boy Steel case. Oh my lord.
Yeah, but that's only in Europe. It's only in Europe.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's only in Europe. It's not available in America. America don't get that. It's only available in Europe.
America.
I guess it was wishful
Have to order it.
thinking
was
because we
wishful
can't even
thinking.
get a stylus.
No, yeah, that's all. That's Europe only. That is Europe only. So, if anybody wants to see Dennis's heart break, it's at 1 hour 5 minutes. You can actually go right to it and slow it down to the point where his heart actually breaks in half. But yeah, I'm sorry to say that, but it was that's the way it was.
Yeah, I was having such a good time here too.
I know. I'm terribly sorry. Luigi's Mansion 3 looks totally awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Caught my eye.
Okay, we're coming around. We're coming around. Oh my god. Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, I mean that one looked really cool. Trials of Mana is coming out in 2020. That is a HD remake of I cannot say the name of it because I'm
Yeah.
terrible at Japanese names, and when you have a West Virginia accent, you slaughter them. So, but that's coming out. The Fire Emblem trailer looked really good. I mean, the story trailer that looked. I didn't even realize that was a Fire Emblem game until they were at the end of it. I went, "Oh, is that what that is?" Okay, which that comes out next month. More Resident Evil games. No More Heroes 3 was announced. I know Eric's
my
probably
God.
excited about that.
I am,
So
but
excited.
we don't know anything about it, right? Just,
No,
it was
just
Not
announced.
really. It was just a
No,
CG trailer. No
just,
gameplay.
yeah, just a trailer. So,
Still pretty cool. I'll take it.
the one thing that blew me out of left field that I was not expecting, that I have wanted for almost 30 years, is Panzer Dragoon is being remade for the Switch.
Oh my god.
That
Yeah,
as
that
soon
looks
as
really nice.
man, as soon as that
Very
music
exciting.
hit, first second, I went, "Oh my god, is that really Panzer?" Am I asleep? It's like somebody have I been dreaming that of E3 all week to not only get Phantasy Star Online 2 announced for the US, but I'm also getting a Panzer Dragoon remake. What kind of world do we live in? But yeah, that looks totally awesome. I can't wait to see more of that. Megapixel Studios is the one handling that one, so
It's gonna be good.
yeah,
I think
it's
I'm gonna
gonna
have
be
to get it for sure.
new Contra game looked kind of cool. It's a $40
I thought
budget
that looked
game, but
terrible.
Yeah, and you can already
I don't want
I
anything
did not
Konami
like
in
it
my
at
house
Best
anymore.
Buy. It's coming to the other systems too.
yeah. The Contra collection's already out. They talked about that. The Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 trailer looked freaking awesome because you
Looks
could play as
really
Ghost
good.
Rider in it. Yes! If you ever see
you can play
anybody
with him.
online playing, it's only as Ghost Rider. It's got to be me. My Ghost Rider will be level like 50 by
Oh,
the
they
end of the
pulled out
first
a
one.
ton of different characters. In
Yeah,
that
they
trailer, which
did.
was really nice.
Well, and plus there's DLC expansion coming. That's Marvel Knights, X-Men, and Fantastic Four too. So you got even more
Do you
coming
think
out
that's
for
going to
that.
be a console exclusive forever?
I don't know.
You think, like, let's say in a year, maybe they're like, boom, Game of the Year Ultimate Edition,
You know
PS4, Xbox One.
At this point, I can't say yay or
Who
nay.
knows?
I mean,
Yeah.
I really don't know. Anything
I'm
can
pretty
happen.
excited about it.
Yeah.
So if they keep the Marvel B heroes in check, though.
Yeah. Well, they even got Marvel D heroes in this one. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's
Stuff from the 80s that nobody cares about.
watch that trailer. It'll blow
Okay, I'll
your
go back and
mind.
watch
Some
it.
of the characters that you see.
I'll have to
of
send
it.
you a message later. I'll be like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Who's this guy? Who is this?
Where was he relevant?
Let me bust
That'd be
out
cool.
my Marvel Encyclopedia because I can't even remember.
Oh yes, this guy made one appearance, and yeah, that's interesting though. That's a lot of fan service there, so that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
it is. I'm very excited about that one. Already pre-ordered Cadence of Hyrule. That comes out
I mean, it comes out like 2 days.
2 days. Well, I went ahead and pre-downloaded it, so all I have to do is just go, and it's
I'm
good.
kind of interested,
Yeah.
but I don't really know if it's for me. But I
Oh, that
definitely am
game was-
interested.
Like the Crypt of the Necro Dancer. Is
Yeah,
great. To see it with
see.
Zelda stuff is even better.
It's
yeah.
not really up my alley, but
Who
knows?
Of course, we talked about
It's
Witcher
very much a
3.
rhythm game.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. We talked about Witcher 3. Well, we haven't really talked. We've mentioned Witcher 3.
It's like,
Um,
hey, it's coming to Switch. That's not where you should play that game.
No, I mean,
But if that's the only place that you can play it, then sure.
yes,
Yeah,
and
this is the way
that's
I look
exactly
at it.
right.
If
That's
you-
that's
if
the
you
way I
never
look at
played
it.
If you've
Mhm.
never played it and you only have a Switch, go for it.
Um,
If you're really a big fan, you really want to replay it, and you have lots of time on the go with your Switch, maybe. But if you have another option,
Or like me, randomly before E3 stuff was going on, I started playing Witcher 3 again from the beginning.
Excellent
on PC
choice.
This week. Just cause.
Just cause. What was it? I saw the docked resolution for Witcher 720. The handheld is 480 or 580, something like that.
And I think people are going to complain about that so
I can't.
much.
I am too. Well, that's the thing is, people, as soon as it was released, I saw somebody tweet, "Hey, guess what? Another Switch game that we've had forever. You're going to pay $60 for it on the Switch." It's like, yeah, but you got to remember, there are a lot of Nintendo people out there that only buy Nintendo consoles. They don't buy PlayStations. They don't buy Xboxes. They don't game on.
I just hope it
PC.
runs well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's going to reach a bigger audience, so that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Is more people are going to know about The Witcher 3.
The
Maybe
video
over the
that
other two games.
the video that I tweeted out shows a lot of the difference in the graphics, which still, I mean, yeah, you could look at it and tell, oh, that's a lower res, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have the shadows, it doesn't have this, but still, to get that graphics on that system blows my mind.
It looks like really, really terrible. Someone who's super familiar with that game, and I was watching, I was like, that's very downgraded, but it's amazing they just got running it all on the Switch.
It is. I think the biggest thing, and I've been saying this for years, even before all the expansions and stuff like that, but The Witcher 3, just from the amount of content you get from that game alone, I mean, yeah, you can buy the complete edition. It's on sale now digitally for like $15, right? Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that's the best $15 you'll ever spend in your life. But even that with just the base game alone, even $60 in the Switch version is including all the DLC. That's still going to be probably one of the best $60 you can spend, not just in terms of it being a great game, but the fact that with the amount of content that is in there, I mean, you're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours.
How do they fit all of that on the tiny little cartridge?
They're
crazy.
It can't all be on there. It just can't. It's got to be something that's got to be downloaded.
Your entire Switch is now full of just.
I don't even question CD Projekt Red anymore. I mean, just the fact that Cyber 2077 is like a thing. The fact that game's even running at all. Forget the hardware for a second. The fact that game's even real is astounding to me.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. I don't know. There was something I was going to say and I totally lost it. Pokemon Sword and Shield will work with Pokeball Plus. Not in the game, but you'll be able to take your Pokemon and carry them around. So
I don't mind.
That's fine.
Astral Chain still looks really cool.
Yes, it looks even cooler from that trailer they showed.
Well, you can definitely tell the difference, like a year or whatever makes from the first time we saw it to now.
Anything like, platinum, okay. I'm all.
Yeah, I am too. I'm all over it if it's platinum. Alien Isolation coming to Nintendo. I thought that was kind of out there.
That was in like the little.
That shocked me. Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of
surprised. So was Spyro was in that montage as well.
And a word of the wise to people with Spyro, the box art that's going around is it's apparently maybe one Spyro game on the cart, and the rest of the other two are download games. So
isn't that how it was even with the disc though on the other platforms?
I don't know. I don't remember. It may have very well could have been. I didn't buy it, so.
I could have swore that's how it was because I remember hearing a lot of complaints of like that really just because it was like a massive patch to get the other one, so it was effectively basically the other two were.
And that's sad on a 50 gigabyte Blu-ray disc. Come on, that's just silly. Let's see. We talked about Mario or Luigi. We talked about Smash. Breath of the Wild sequel is being made. In other news, water is wet.
Well, the cool thing about this is that we know it's a direct sequel to it. It's not just another new Zelda game. Because that's true. Like, oh, hey, that's neat. They don't really do that usually ever. It's usually just a new Zelda game.
In fact, I don't think they've...
And they showed footage from it. So that was cool. Like, even if it's just like, okay, this is a little cutscene that we've got working. This is like a little bit of the vibe they're going for. It's like, that's cool.
Somebody help me remember. Has there ever been a direct sequel in a Zelda game? I mean, a direct, like this is a sequel to blah, blah, blah.
I mean, depends on how you look at Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Majora's Mask would be the closest, I would think. Or something like maybe.
I was thinking like Twilight Princess and like Skyward Sword, but that's not.
No, that's not.
I don't know. Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. What about Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass?
Yeah, those two kind of go together a little bit, but like And
Some
maybe
sort of art
maybe
style.
we're just looking into it too much because they use the word sequel. Maybe it's
Yeah,
still
we're like
going to be
thinking about
just
we're thinking
kind of
about
Maybe,
it.
I
We're
don't
going
know.
out like this,
But we do see the same version of Link and Zelda in there, so
Right. So,
it would make sense.
yep, it would.
And it was very kind of dark and creepy, which was cool.
Yeah,
Well,
it
as
was.
dark and creepy as they'll get with the Zelda game.
Yeah, it was really dark and creepy for a Zelda game. But yeah, I think that's about it for.
I mean, they had the
Nintendo.
Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games thing, which is
They
like, yay,
did.
Resident
Cool. Resident Evil 5 and 6 coming to the Switch. More
that
Resident
was a
Evil.
weird way to present that.
It
too.
really
like, hey,
was.
we're playing Resident Evil, and they're playing Evil 1 in this whole time that they're playing in some weird, creepy mansion. Like, what is it? And then it's like Resident Evil logo pops up, and you're like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
And then it, like a couple seconds later, there's like, oh wait, no, Resident Evil 5 and 6 are coming to the Switch along with the stuff that's already there. Like, cool, Nintendo.
Hey, babe, I want to go
Weird
play
trailer.
some Resident Evil in this old creepy house. You want to come with me? Well, sure, we can play Switch. Yeah, we can play it on Switch wirelessly. Why not? Oh, yeah, that was so weird.
That was a very odd way to present that.
And that's one of those things where you can get those games. I mean, it's cool they're coming to Switch. No, that's great. More exposure to people, but they're so cheap everywhere else.
Yeah,
Like,
it really is. And I'm sure these are digital only and blah blah blah. I mean, I'm sure it's all.
yeah, because that's what that's what because I'm thinking about Resident Evil 7, right? That was in Japan. That was a streaming version of the Switch, right?
Yeah, I think it was on. I think that one was the one that was streaming version. I think they did
It is
it,
what
and
it
they
is.
did Odyssey.
Hey, it comes to more games for more the people that might have not played Resident Evil,
Yep,
where they
that's
want to
true.
play it again.
See,
Swag look
my
at it.
wife says nope. That's what I say about that. She's not going to go to an old creepy house and watch me play Resident Evil.
Let me tell you, Resident Evil 7 in VR. After like 20 minutes, I was like, "Nah, I'm done." My friend's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "It's not making me sick, but I'm terrified."
Well, that's you'd sent me a message and go, "Hey, would you like Resident Evil 7 for VR before
Yeah,
I decide
found
I'm
it
going to
cheap.
get rid of it? Yeah, or found it cheap or whatever." And I said, "No, I don't." I wasn't even going to start it because
Yeah,
Scott Johnson, who I listen to a lot of his podcasts, he did a live stream every. I think twice a week he does a live stream, and somebody sent him Resident Evil 7 and told him to play it on the stream. So he played it for a couple weeks. He screamed like for 2 hours straight in that game because everything scared the crap out of him, and he wasn't playing in VR. So it was like, okay, if I'm not playing that game in VR. There is no way.
Playing that in VR would be a good way to break a VR headset.
Either that or
I gotta rip it up.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, thank you. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much. Wow, that
The biggest announcement for me was before E3 because it was a part of the Stadia stuff where they announced Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. And Larian Studios is making it the Divinity Original Sin studio. So I'm like, yes, please bring it on.
Yep, that looked really, really cool. I was very excited to see that. And it's not a Stadia exclusive. It's going to be on everything. So
Yeah, it's just that was part
yeah,
of
that
what
was
got
just
announced.
what they announced it on. So, and we didn't even talk about that because it's like, I mean, we can talk about it for a second.
It exists.
Yeah, it exists. If you
It's there.
My only complaint with the thing was I thought the pricing was right on it. It's like $165 because it's pretty much a Chromecast and a controller and 3 months of their subscription. The only problem I have with the 3 months or the subscription part is what games are going to be in that. I need to know because honestly, a streaming service like that, I would only do subscription service. I would not buy games on that.
Well, I mean, this is only for when they launch it too, so there's going to be other ways to get into it later, and so that's kind of even more like you can get this to be like the Founders Edition, whatever
Right.
they're calling it. That
And what's
if
cool
you
is
wanna
if you
leave it
have
from the
a
start, you can.
Yeah, and if you have a Chromecast now, all you got to do is just pair your Xbox One or PS4 controller up to it and download the app, and you're good
That's
to go.
pretty cool.
I mean, that was the other thing that was kind of nice about it. It was like that. But yeah, it's not really something that I would pay money for. Like, I would not go buy an Assassin's Creed game of it. It worked really, really well when I did the beta.
Yeah.
It worked awesome. I mean,
It did work
Problem
really
with
well.
Google Stadia is it's Google's, and they will, as soon as it's like not turning profitable, they'll like throw it away.
Yeah.
Just like they have so many other random like services and devices and things that they've tried. If it's not working, they'll just get rid of it. because
Yes.
they're not like a gaming
You think it's one
company.
of those things,
So
or
like,
maybe it doesn't
it's
work
not
out
like
there, it's
say Microsoft, who has like xCloud, so they're going to try and stick with
Yeah,
it for at
make
least
sure
a
to stick
while,
with it.
to make
Yeah.
it work. Whereas with Google, if it doesn't take off right away, how long are they going to support it?
Yeah. So I don't know.
I
It'll
mean,
be
it seems
interesting.
like it on the surface from how they're talking about it, it looks like they will, but you never know.
Well, as long as the games come to it and people, even if it's a small base, Google will stick with it. As long as they see some kind of movement in it. If it comes out and nobody buys it, and there was a lot of people that
If it
surprisingly
works, I think it'll take off, but there's no guarantee of that just yet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a wait and see for me.
And that's been the main thing that I've seen people fuss about online is data caps. That's the one thing that keeps it. And if you've got a company, if you got a internet service provider, let's see, Nathaniel, who do you got yours through down in North Carolina? Spectrum.
Spectrum, yeah, that's what.
Do they have a cap on yours that
Nope.
you know of? Nope. See, and Spectrum used to be Time Warner. It was Time Warner when we were down there, but
it was Time Warner. It changed to Spectrum.
And I don't have a cap on mine. And I have Suddenlink. Now I could pay for the version that has a cap on it, but why would I do that when I can pay $20 more and be unlimited? Eric, do you have a cap on yours? Who do you have? Comcast?
Nope, I have Spectrum. Comcast. Yuck.
Well, I had no idea. I don't know who's up in that area.
No, over
I know
here, pretty much-
Comcast is in a lot of places.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Comcast is pretty much all over the Northwest, but we have Spectrum, and there's no cap, and the price is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So it's pretty zippy.
I think a lot of these people that are
But
yelling
it all
data
depends
caps,
on where they live.
Yeah.
And some people,
I think if you have
whether
AT&T
they have a cap
for
or
your
not,
internet provider,
because
I know they have caps.
Yeah.
some places it won't matter if you have a cap or not because your internet you won't have fast enough internet.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
for it to
thing.
work
Well, if you're in the
anyways.
middle of nowhere and you're trying to use, do they say there's a limit of how fast you need to have at least a 10 meg connection?
I think they
I
said,
don't-
but now I don't
They've
remember.
said, but I don't remember what it is.
I don't remember what the
What if you
minimum
live in
was.
the middle of the sticks and you got DSL and it's like
I thought it was like 5 or 6.
or satellite?
Maybe.
Satellite will never be able to play it.
Satellite will never be able to play it. But though I had DSL living in Randleman, and I had gigabit. I had 1,000 megs.
Yeah, I think it all just
I could do
depends
whatever
on
I
where you
wanted to
are.
do.
the same as DSL. That's
Well,
like
no,
some special
but it
thing.
wasn't. I mean, there's different kinds of DSL, but
Yeah. for sure.
I don't know. I mean, my thing is people complain about data caps, and they live in larger areas. I live in the middle of nowhere, and we do not have. Well, I'm surprised we get as fast internet as we do, much less not having a cap, on ours. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I do miss our internet in Randleman. It was, oh man, fiber optic was so nice. And I can get fiber optic here, but man, it's almost $40 more a month for it, and I'm not ready to pay $150 for internet. I don't care how fast it is. So any final thoughts other than Baldur's Gate? Was there anything else that really that stood out to you? Nathaniel?
The cost of that.
Oh no, we're not talking about the Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights and the other collection. Those things look awesome, but they're $50 a pop. And if they all four come out at the same time, or all three come out at the same time, I'm not getting them all. I'm gonna have to spread those puppies out. Plus, it's not like I'm gonna be able to play all those games at one time anyway. Those are 100 hours.
Yeah, those are heavy invested.
But I do want to buy them eventually just to have them on Switch. They would be very, very cool to have. But anyway, Nathaniel, besides Baldur's Gate, was there anything really cool? Just go around the room and.
Other than a few of the trailers that have some promise of like, okay, I like From Software games, so seeing a trailer for a new one of those was kind of cool, even though it doesn't really tell you much about what the actual game will be.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk still looks awesome. Some of the Nintendo stuff looked really cool. So yeah, it's pretty much what we've already talked about.
Yep. Dennis?
Yeah, no, I mean, we pretty much hit all the highlights. I think, Astral Chain really is just really what I keep thinking about. And they didn't show much of it. They showed a little bit of it at the Treehouse, but once Super Mario Maker 2 comes out, everything else is kind of irrelevant for me, truthfully, because I'm just, I just really love Mario.
A couple weeks or so.
Yeah, that's. Just,
I know, I'm super stoked. But yeah, honestly. Luigi's Mansion 3. Without a doubt, I need that in my veins. I'm just a big Luigi's Mansion fan, so that's the big thing. But Yeah, I think it was a solid E3. I think one thing I did want to mention earlier was that even though Sony wasn't there, it still felt oddly enough very fulfilling. And I don't know what that says, um, about the event or Sony's presence, but E3 felt very full this year. Even though we were missing a contender, it felt very,
I
to me
thought
anyways, it
the
felt that.
opposite
But
to me, but whatever.
because I mean, like a couple weeks ago, we
feels
got
like
the Death
this is
Stranding
an
trailer. That's all I
off
want.
year.
So
There's still plenty of stuff, but it still feels like there's a lot less hype and things to get super excited about, or things that we didn't know about before, than there are some other years. Especially looking to next year when there's going to be new hardware and there's going to be a whole lot more of that sizzle stuff for that. Look at all the new things coming to our consoles. This year is just a whole lot of like, okay, here's some stuff you've already heard about. Here's a vague trailer for couple things you haven't, and it just is kind of like it was all there, but there was no like big, huge moment of like, wow, that's awesome and amazing this year. So it just kind of felt like, yeah, it was E3.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Eric, I know you didn't get to watch a lot of.
Yeah, we're kind of busy, but there was some cool stuff. I was thinking about how the Terminator and Ghost Recon like caught my eye. That looks cool because I was thinking
The
the other day
Terminators
of,
and
like,
everything.
Terminators and Gears of War.
but I was thinking
Gears
about
of
how like
War,
in Wildlands the other day, or I was playing Wildlands and there's a mission where you can kill the Predator, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if we see the Predator in like another game like this. And then it makes this kind of shows up. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. I'm pretty excited for Star Wars Fallen Order. Most of the other stuff we mentioned, there's lots of cool stuff. Great time to be a gamer. Lots of options to pick from. Everything looks good. Even I'm kind of one of those guys. I don't buy a lot of ports. If I already own the game, I'm not going to buy it on their system. But my theory is what I was saying on the rest of the show is it's going to come to more systems. Cool, more people are going to play. Like The Witcher 3 might not be the greatest port, but it's going to be coming to the Switch. Lots of people are going to play it and enjoy the franchise, right?
Yeah. There's some stuff that weren't in any of the conferences too. That there's some slow trailers leaking out.
Yeah.
Like Vampire the Masquerade had another new kind of what they call gameplay trailer.
Lots of people are very excited about Animal Crossing. I saw that today. Lots of people are very gung ho about that. That's not for me, but I'm glad people are happy.
Yeah, I'll definitely pick up Animal
Do you think
Crossing.
Rare is going to crank out some more games with that Smash DLC coming? That was kind of people are kind of theorizing about that. Does this mean they're going to be back and making out some more games?
I don't know.
Some more stuff?
They're still doing Sea of Thieves, so who knows?
Yeah, Sea of Thieves, that was, I forget how many millions of players they said that would have. I was very surprised on how many. It was crazy. They did a big update to that coming too, which looked kind of cool. So, for me, it was just, the Nintendo stuff really excited me, as it usually does. And the Sega stuff this year was kind of out in left field that I did not see coming, especially
Fantasy Star.
Yeah, Phantasy Star and Panzer Dragoon. I mean, I've lost.
Yeah, Panzer Dragoon. I'm like, I think how I should play, the original, like several years ago when it was not horribly expensive. Now I'm like, all right, I don't have to.
Yeah, it's you can play that game in half hour. I mean, you can breeze through it. So I'm anxious to see what they do, different. Is it just going to be like a small game? Is it going to be, HD remastered of just Panzer Dragoon, or is it going to be that and other content? Is it going to be more levels, more this, more that? It'd be interesting to see, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff. It was weird that Sony wasn't there. That you saw no Sony first party stuff. That was really weird to me. Other than that, that was the only cog that I thought was taken out. That was odd. Because you didn't see any of those first party games from Sony. But we'll see something from them at some point.
Still a great time to be a gamer. Lots of good games coming. Lots of stuff for anybody.
And anybody, the Fallout stuff was really cool. I know Spinner was saying that it's free to play this. It's you can download it this week and play for free. I guess the Battle Royale thing must be up already.
Yeah, they're doing like the double thing, like the trial. You can play the game for free, and then they're also doing like the test of the Battle Royale thing at the same time. Because I'm sure they know a lot of people will jump in there.
Hammer that thing.
Yeah, well, and it's cheap to buy. Cheapest I saw was $17, and you'll get all that new content for free. So, but I need to. I have yet to really fire that game up and play it because I was totally busy.
It's probably
when it came
been
out.
4 or 5 months since I played, but I was still having a blast, especially if you got people to play with. Still a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah, and with this new
Warning,
update, even if you don't have
game
people
does
to play with, I mean,
Strange
The
stuff.
thing I
crash.
thought when they were showing it that I put into Discord chat with some friends was like, hey, coming to Fallout 76 this fall, all the things you wish it had at launch.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
NPCs that talk to you.
Yeah. But again,
like,
that goes.
humans are coming. Whoa, it's so
Whoa.
weird.
Well, but I
Whoa.
mean that plays back into the one thing too with companies listening to
Yep.
players,
Listening to people.
which
And
is
that's
which
what
is
Nintendo
good.
Maybe
did.
some
You hear
of that,
about
but I
that?
also think there's some stuff in Fallout 76 they're adding that they probably would have put in there from the start. And if they just waited a year to put it out and it were actually just coming out this year, a lot of that same stuff I think would be
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, and Spinner's right. Spinner said the community that's left is faithful Fallout fans. Yeah, they really are. Again, and that was one of the things they pointed out. They were like, here is a community that everybody figured when we put them in, everybody was going to troll people and this and that and that and this, and said you see people online, you see streams online, and people don't do that. They help people out. They actually, and it's because they have a good community of people that are still there playing. They don't have, kids popping in or whoever popping in that just trolling people. But yeah, so. Yeah, that's the one thing to take away. There's a ton of games coming out in the next few years. There was a lot of 2019 stuff, but there was a lot of 2020.
Oh man, early like the first quarter of 2020 is going to be insane.
I'm already scared.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, September's looking crazy. November's looking
November's crazy.
October's actually looking not too bad. There's not a ton.
There'll be some
coming out.
stuff that's going to come out.
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's plenty of stuff coming out. So get your pocketbooks ready, people, because
Yep.
Anything that's wanting to come out in April 2020, better hope that they can change it to a different spot because Cyberpunk is going to explode everybody.
Yeah, I have a feeling
unless it gets delayed again, but hopefully they've done enough that it won't get pushed back like some of the Witcher games in the past have. But
yeah, I hope so. I mean, I was surprised. Like I said, at first, I was surprised to see even a 2019 or a 2020 date on it, coming out within the next year. I figured it was going to be December.
I always
of
thought
next
2020
year.
made sense for when that was going to come out, the earliest possible time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we are getting it in time frame.
Yeah, so.
I need that game.
Yeah, I do too. That game just, I can't wait. I'm gonna play a lot of that game. So, and plus I've had it on pre-order since last E3, so because I got that sweet Amazon discount on it before they took that off. So I've kept that pre-order. I still have Bayonetta 3 pre-ordered, even though that's not coming out for any, or Metroid Prime 4. I've still got that pre-ordered. Even though it's not.
Yeah, since they started that one over, who knows?
Yeah, who knows when that one's coming out. But I'll still have my sweet discount with it, so that's fine. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for hanging out with us, Spinner, and everybody else that stopped in the chat. This will maybe be the last podcast for maybe a month. I know Nathaniel is going out of town about the time I'm going out of town. So it will be, it may be a couple of weeks before you see us again. But follow us on Twitter. That's where we'll announce what's going on and when it's going on and everything like that when we figure out schedules. Because it's summertime and people got vacations. And
Yep, things going on.
I'm going to Florida, so.
Yay!
Yay?
Uh-huh.
Maybe yay? I don't know.
Woo! You get to go. Maybe we'll go to a couple cool game stores down there, right?
I already know one that I'm going to hit up that I went to the last time.
See?
Well, see, we're flying down, but then we're driving back, and then we're taking the vehicle back down and then flying back again. So we're actually making 2 trips to Florida within a month. But when we go down, we're actually staying a week. So So when we drive back, I can go hit up some outlet malls and get some clothes and some new shoes and some stuff like that. Stuff that I can't carry on a plane so, without paying for luggage. So yeah, I'm going to stop at the video game store that we stopped at down there and see what other stuff they have, because I didn't go crazy the last time we were down there because I didn't want to try to haul all that on a plane because I had everything in a book bag. So because I fly as cheap as possible, no luggage. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for hanging out with us, and we will catch you all next time.